I introduced Michael Oden to you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the button?
I think that's the
it'll
button,
end
right?
up all over, okay.
This is the button, right? The corner arrow.
All right, we'll figure it out.
There you go.
You got it. Well, that was a lot of stuff. I don't remember half the stuff I did. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep it simple. We're going to intertwine all that was said into the anger management, which is why we're here today, the juvenile anger management. Okay. It's nice to be here. It's been about a few months, so I'm getting used to this, being in front of people, coming out of my shell. I'm going to do some stuff that may rattle you a little bit, so be ready, because this is an anger management teen class. So if I shout and scream and all that stuff, just know this is why I'm doing it. I'm not coming after you. I'm just giving you an example, okay? So, okay, and there that goes, and there this goes, and there that. Oh, there we go. There we go.
How are we doing?
Okay.
I'm here.
This is what we're dealing with right here. Just a little background, being a PO, when I worked at the camps, and as I work in the adult world, anger is one of the primary behavioral issues that I see. They are very upset. They're so upset when I talk to them. And here's my thing. I have to go back from their adult world to their juvenile world or adolescent world to see where all this anger comes from. So this is going to kind of help a little bit. Because if I don't go back there and why they're standing in front of me with all the cases and the crimes they've committed over the years and the people they've harmed, so we can get some answers to that, so we can let that anger diminish. A little bit of me, done this kind of stuff, 8,000 interviews, a lot of people. So what I discovered was a common denominator through all those interviews. And one of the things I uncovered, if you want to talk about an angry teenager or angry adult, is no father in the home. If that's one of the common, that's 95% of the interviews that I've had. And that is a huge impact, especially the boys. And here's an example. I have a client, I may deviate, so we're going to go on this thing, but I'm going to deviate a little bit. I had a client who had two sisters, UCLA and USC graduates. I said, then why are you in front of me? What do you mean why are you in front of me? Well, why'd they do good? You had same house, same mother, same upbringing, same stimuli. Why are you in front of me with all these crimes on the screen I'm looking at? He says, because I was stupid. No, tell me about your life. So end up being, where's your dad? Gone. Left him at 6. So who do you mirror? What do you mean? Who do you example? Who do you mirror? Who's going to raise you to be that man and do important things and be productive? Nobody. Did you have a stepfather? Yes, the stepfather. Guess what? I didn't want to like him because I felt guilty because my father wasn't there. So look what he's carrying with him. So he goes out into the world, slashing and burning and raising the village and hurting himself and others, not realizing that that one thing his dad wasn't there in his life impacted his life. Okay? Hence the boy, hence the girls. And that, I see that a lot in my case. So the girls do really well. I see that a lot. Okay? So just a little pointer there. Okay. Emotions. Since we're talking about anger, let's get an understanding what anger is. It is an emotion. It is an indicator light. If we get anger, something had to set it off. What was that? An event had to happen. Our interpretation of the event had to get us to think about how that's impacting us. And therefore, the emotion will rise and we will act accordingly. Now, emotions, right? Triggered by events, interpretation. Here's the other, because I teach an anger management class. And the first thing I ask my clients is, do you know what an emotion is? Do you know where they come from? Simple, or not simple, but some of the responses I get are they come from your brain. I said, no, those are thoughts. They come from your heart. Well, that's Valentine's Day. No, I'll go, what does your heart do? What's the function of the heart? Pumps blood. There you go. So let's get away from that. Where do emotions come from? I never thought about it. That's my point. What I'm trying to do is get people to understand where things come from. Something has to make something in my world. So emotions come from an event that you interpret. And then we'll talk about the needs. I've been here before, so some of you know about the needs I have, the need sheets, what needs are, and how we get them met and whatnot. So then I go like this. What is a feeling? A lot of people say this. Everybody says this. I feel as though. Is that as though a feeling? I feel like is like a feeling. I feel like ice cream. No, I feel happy because I have ice cream. See the difference? Big difference. A lot of people get that kind of, all right? So you guys remember that when somebody says, I feel. But feelings come from this. They come from the 5 senses. If someone pinches you, you feel pain. Ow. It's different than an emotion. An emotion, right, is an indicator light that is created from an interpretation from an event. So keep that in mind. It's something to talk about, okay? I know we got an hour. I tend to go over, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Okay? Some of the cues of anger are this: physical. All right? Raising voices, heartbeat, tightness of body. I'm going to use myself as an example. You can say that one thing to me that I remember as a kid, and I will go, woo! And my body will tighten up, and I'll start sweating. That's my indicator light. I said, oh, damn, I'm pissed. Back up, think of process, breathe. And then I have to go through my head, why am I angry? Because he said this one thing that pushed my button. And we'll talk about pushing the buttons later, okay? Then we have behavior, raising your voice and staring, mad dogging. Of course, in my world, the probation world or the gang world, trying to set a precedent. But that is one of your, shall we say, indicated behavior. When you see anger, somebody cuts you off. F you! What are you doing, you knucklehead, right? So hold on. We have to be responsible for our own feeling, or excuse me, emotions. You have to be responsible. Why am I upset? Why? We'll talk about this later. Because a need of mine wasn't met in the moment. Probably physical safety, respect, and consideration as I was driving. Then we can let it go. That's why I'm angry. Okay. Well, do you ever see that guy again? Probably not. Do you have more important things to think about? Children, family lives, and other things? Yes, probably. So we have to learn how to back them and see what's really important to you. So here's some of the other things. Emotion, the indicator light we talked about, unmet needs. We'll go over a need down the line. And cognitive thoughts. I want to kick his ass. I want to F him up. Da, 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 da. Those are the things we think about. So when we process where that comes from and understand it, and understand the need not being met, we can take this information and put it aside. Okay? And not carry it with us. A lot of these guys at my probation, my clients, they carry the emotion like bowling balls. They just carry them with them, and they hold on to the events, the things that were said to them, done to them, right? And who's going to pay for it? The person who's in front of you. Whoever that is. It could be a loved one, it could be someone walking down the street. I always ask a guy, I go like this, why did you rob the lady with the purse and rip off her necklace and the purse? Because she had what I wanted. I go like this, so what were the emotions that were in there? Emotions what? What is that? What were you getting out of it? She had what I wanted, so I didn't care. So you go back a little further, then you see his childhood, why when people didn't care about him, why should he care? So if we don't believe we are valued, heard.
So sorry.
Oh, I teach this class, I teach just, try not to apologize. Don't worry about it. Just understand the need being met. That we're going to work on that. It's not a big deal. So don't worry about it. So the guy who, where was I?
Valued and heard.
Thank you. When you're not valued and heard. Nicely done. When you're not valued and heard, you're going to carry this I am worthless belief system, and you're going to make someone pay down the line. That's where most of the anger comes from that I've witnessed over the years. People in my work, and even people who aren't in my work. Family members. Okay? Here we go right here. Anger, anger, anger. Core emotion, the need not being met. What are they? For teenagers, it's usually this. You don't see me. Oh, here's a big one. It's probably one of the biggest ones. You don't give me choice. What are teenagers trying to do as they get older? Trying to, spread their wings, go a little further in the world, that they're older, they know stuff, a little more, a little more. If you pull back on them, there's going to be some resistance. So the need for choice, the need for identity, the need for empowerment not being met. Plus, judgment, criticism, labeling, and diagnosis of someone. You blame, shame, criticize, judge somebody, you're loading up. What are they going to do? They're going to hold on to it. It's going to ignite the emotion button, and boom, here we go. Okay? So this is going to give you a little diagram of how that looks. But here's what I wanted to do. I wanted to talk about something, what anger is good for. It's not a bad thing. It's okay. We need it. And I heard on the radio, I said, wow, that's a good point. I'm teaching this anger management plan. But no one really talks about this. Anger is a benefit from preventing us to get exploited. When we get angry, because if I'm feeling I'm being devalued, if I'm powerless, I'm going to get angry so I can stop you, the individual, from doing that to me. So it's not such a bad thing. So let's take the whole picture of the word anger. It doesn't have to be a terrible thing. All right? Anger progresses to rage, can exuberate a situation, swallowing pain, can lead to depression. Now, if you hold on to the anger, now we got a problem. This is where cancer and medical issues come in. All right? But it can be a good thing. All right? When we are underdevalued, I was talking to my son the other day. I'm practicing this stuff on him. and he's doing his music, and he got very angry because the guy challenged him why he didn't pay the other band member. I said, why did you take it personally? Maybe I did, Dad. But why did you get angry? What button did he push in you? So then I go back. He remembers a time in childhood where he was powerless. And there's some ugly stories. I wasn't there, but there were some stories he told me where he had no say in it. And some people said certain things to him. So he's carrying that emotion with him. And so 15 years later, some guy says the same thing that reminds him of that event. Boom, he lights up and he gets real mad. Now what does he do with his anger? He holds on to it. I said, did you process it like I taught you? No. Why not? I'm teaching you this stuff. You know, you're young. Once you get this, you're going to take this tool and apply it so you don't hang on to stuff and beat yourself up. So he held on to it for 2 days. We talked it out. And now he went out there and applied it and said, that felt much better, Dad, because I told the guy that we talked about it, we got it out, and we understood each other. But he had to understand why he was angry. The fact that because he didn't want you to pay somebody, pissed you off? Why? So once we uncovered that, it's about uncovering your stuff and being responsible for your anger. You need to know that you are responsible for your feelings. If you're not responsible, you can't blame the other guy for pissing you off or making you angry. You take it in, you process the information, therefore, you're responsible. How do you take the information? If you take it in a way that, if you personalize it, you're in trouble. So that's one of the things people got to really think about on how you personalize information. Anger motivates people to take action. Anger boosts confidence and optimism, risk-taking. You know, you can get angry. I'm fired. I'm pissed off because this didn't happen, therefore I'm going to do better. So it's okay. Anger has reputational value. Oh, he gets pissed. Don't mess with him. He gets very upset when you do that thing. So don't push that button. Okay? So these are some of the things that can happen or that are positive or life benefiting with anger. Anger can fuel social progress as gender equality movements, police shootings, and civil rights. Yeah, I'm angry. See me. Now you see me. Now I'm heard. Therefore, the other people will make changes and recognize what's going on and do something about it. But at least you're heard. I'm angry that this is happening. The word unfairness is a big one. It was unfair. Therefore, I'm angry. Therefore, I want you to do something about that. And if it's legit, usually it happens. There's a transformation going on within a community. Without anger, those individuals with problems will never be heard. If you're never heard, you're going to store the anger, and you're just going to hang on, because you never said anything. Because sometimes people have a difficult time expressing themselves. If you have a difficult time expressing yourself, you know, if that's not you, per se, then what do? Okay? Something to work on, something to think about. Teens, here's the teen thing. I've had 5 clients in their early 20s, and the mothers are running out of the homes. They are scared. They're taking the keys from them and taking the car. They're telling them to F off, and you're this, and I mean, I'm hearing it all. I'm going, woo. So I'm going like this to the parent, who made this person? How was he created? He just didn't show up and angry one day. What happened back then for him to come up to you and finally stand up to you and say these words? Well, something was created back in the day. Okay? All these young men in their early 20s, going back to their teenage, somewhere down the line they were told they were worthless. They were devalued. They were not heard. All these needs we talked about before. And guess what? They could not do something about it because they were too small to say anything. Now they're bigger, and then they get more gist of the world, and now they can do something about it. So no one teaches them how to let go, so they kind of swing the pendulum to the other side and let them pay for that. Well, Mom, you're my authority figure, and since you're my mom and you're a woman, I'm bigger than you, I'm, 20 pounds on you, or whatever the case may be, 30, 50. I'm going to say what I really wanted to say a long time ago. And even to the father. I mean, a lot of these kids were, these young men, we'll call them. I call them men children sometimes, so they're stuck. All right? I mean, I realize this. When someone says, well, he's a grown-ass man, that's how do you know? How do you know? Give me 5 minutes with them, and I'll tell you if they are, depending on how they interact in the world. So these young boys are lashed out at their authority figures because finally they're being listened to, and also they're getting their need for what? Autonomy met and empowerment met. Tragically by what? Taking it out on the caretakers. And you usually take it out on the caretakers because you know they're not going to leave you. This is interesting. One of the chapters of my next book is going to be like this. Why does the parent who stays around get the most abuse? The one who shows up the most gets hammered the most. I've noticed that, Where are they? How come they're not here? Mom, Dad, get off my back. Where is he? Why come he's not around holding, touching me, and caring about me? Okay? Again, that belief system, unworthiness, creating anger. What people did to the teens. So here's some examples. Parents and siblings may forget an event such as a birthday sporting event. Parents or siblings not validating the teen. What people did to the teen was unnecessary, being hurtful. I've heard all kinds of stories what happened to these guys when I get them as older people, as adults. They were neglected, verbally abused. You guys heard all the stories. You know the stories. All right? So what are they supposed to do with that? How do they verbalize it? How do they physically get rid of the stuff until you guys come in as therapists and counselors and get them to understand this is where the anger comes from? So at the end of this, I'm going to give you a solution that I figured out. That will take probably 50% of the emotional burden off the individual from carrying all the emotional weight they've been carrying for their whole lives. You know, if I can get them early, great. But if I get them to 30 and 50, not a big deal. They still can change, okay? So a lot of the resentment comes to the fact that you did not notice me, you did not care, you didn't show up. In a nutshell, you didn't show up. Abandonment, loss of value, loss of love, connectedness. Big one. Chapter 3 in the book. I've been abandoned. Where did you go? Why don't you love me? Why didn't you care? Why didn't you stick around? Did I do something? What do I have to do to get you back? Do I have to get straight A's? Do I have to, make this? Do I have to do that? When I was teaching at the Anaheim, what's the thing? The treatment center, residential treatment center in Anaheim. Big one, mothership. Salvation Army, thank you. Boy. All these men, 154 of them, right, were always talking about that my father did not notice me. And these were upper middle class people. Half of them were, a lot of them. But they had their stuff together on a sort of a materialistic level. But that emotional thing was what was killing them. And that I've heard stories where they would build up this empire and turn around and go, look, Dad, look what I did. Look at me. It's what? I need a bigger house. I need another car. And then you'll acknowledge me and validate me. I get that a lot. Or they would sabotage their success because why? Well, he's not going to validate it anyway, so I keep it. I don't deserve it. I don't believe I'm worthy of having this thing I created because you did not acknowledge me. And that starts from childhood. So you notice you wonder why the teenagers get angry and they carry it to the adult world. That's what I'm trying to fuse this whole thing together. I get the back end, but I go back to the front to see where it started. And it all starts with that same thing of you did not notice me, you neglected me. A lot of the social emotional needs not being met at that time. So you become a fragmented human being. You're fragmented. How are you going to go into the world and look at the world out here and go, I got all these tools. No, I don't have anything. But you're going to push me out there, not believing in myself, not loving myself, not caring about myself, and I got to go relate to other people. How do I do that? Okay? From the quote-unquote called the perfect world, most needs were met, life was good, parents did everything they needed to do. You can go out there and go, hey, all right, I'll make a mistake and be okay with it. Life is good. Oh, you dumped me, that's okay because I was always loved over here. You dump somebody who's fragmented in a relationship, I talked to the guys about this, you dump them, they will magnify that being dropped by the individual 20 times. Hence, they will be promiscuous. Hence, that's just, they will also destroy other people's lives, make them suffer like they are. I had a lot of that. It was amazing, okay? Traumatic, but it was just amazing. So these are some of the things with abandonment. So how do we wreck the abandonment? Anger. Here we go again. Nothing new. Resent additional household duties. We disrupt child's ability to learn. The person just doesn't care. You didn't care before, why should I care now? Okay? There's a thing I call it the truth table. And it goes like this. Blame, shame, criticism, evaluation, judgment, right, are the 5 curses we will present to ourselves. And we make them up, because they're illusions. They're not real. They're illusions, but we make them up. I am this because they did not tell me so. I am that because they did not show me. So therefore, I must be worthless. I must be a terrible person. I must not have any value to add to the world. Therefore, people will pay for that. And they will pay dearly. And I get them. And we see it on TV. We see things on the news. It's like, wow. I always wonder, where's this guy coming from? What is he thinking about? What need is being met by him doing his behavior? How long has he had it? Addiction. Here's the one. So when we're neglected, we're in pain, a lot of anger, a lot of emotions surfacing on the negative side, guess what we're going to do? We don't want to experience it. This is where I come in with my experience. So if we don't want to experience it, we will do to compensate for it. We can do materialistically. I can have all these material things, but guess what? I got to buy more because after a week, that $500,000 car doesn't mean anything anymore. That fancy house doesn't mean anything. This doesn't mean anything. Or I can do it on an emotional level. I will take the elixir, the drugs and the alcohol, a lot of it, and I will consume it. Guess what I feel? Nothing. I don't want to feel anything. Why? Because it hurts. Because I have a memory of what happened to me. Therefore, I don't want to know what's going on. And it hurts. I get that a lot. I ask the question all the time, why did you do drugs? Because I was stupid. No, you weren't. That's a judgment. Why did you do it? Because. No, it's got to be more to it than that. Not because. Because what? You're getting something out of it, otherwise you would not do it. Right? Everything we do is getting a need met. So why did you use the drug, the alcohol? Why did you do this? Why did you build all this stuff up? Everything we do, it can be positive or negative, it doesn't matter, it's just we do something to get out of it. So what is it? Because I felt like it. No, I know you did. We get that. Go deeper. I wanted to escape. Thank you. Thank you. Escape what? Think about it. No, remember, no one's ever asking these questions, so you got to give them time. I really, it's just like, whoa, I'm coming here to see my PO and you're doing this to me? What are you doing? Right? Well, this is a therapy set? Well, yeah, kind of. Because you're going to be with me for 3 years and we're going to learn some stuff. All right? Because I want to make you a functioning human being before you leave me. And he says, my dad. Thank you. What about your dad? When he told me he wanted a bullet in my head. Thank you. Oh, God, I'm supposed to carry that around in your head. So how do you take that information, carry it with you, now you meet me? Well, what does that mean to you, your dad? Because he wants a bullet in your head. Well, that means you were worthless to him. Right? Yeah. So that's what I thought I was. So, and plus the other verbal stuff that came with it, and the abuse of the mother and seeing all the trauma. But thank you. And the drugs helped a lot, didn't they? Yeah, sure did. Thank you. You're not a bad person for doing the drug. What you are is a person escaping reality because it's the best thing you can do at the time. Why? Because of your anger for what? Your past and your adolescence. Everything has to start from somewhere. Oh my God, really? Oh yeah, it's okay. I mean, you need to know this so you can start moving. This is your benefit. My benefit is to get you to see it so you can change. When next time I see you, something's going to be different. Here's one right here. Translation of language. I like this slide. This slide right here. This is what most people do. And I'll translate some of the words here. Is that what people usually do is this. You're an idiot. Well, you're a jackass. You're a pain in the butt. You're a jerk. Right? So we're going to beat on each other, parents to child, and beat each other to submission. Until someone is weak enough to, I can't take it, you win. But nobody wins because nobody understands what's really going on. What this means is, we talk about the knee thing, is, Mom, I'm feeling sad. Whoa, it's a touch screen. Okay, I will not do that. Mom, I'm feeling angry because you don't acknowledge what I've done in the last week, or just that I'm here. Thank you. And therefore I'm feeling a little angry and upset about that. Good. Son, I'm feeling sad that I did not recognize you meet your need for acknowledgement. See how that works? Instead of pounding on each other and yelling and screaming and hammering away at it, what needs aren't being met and what's the feeling behind or the emotion. Okay, that's how this works. Because a lot of what we do, if you guys could recognize that, is that we fire bullets. All right, you got more holes than I do. I got 25, you got 15. We're both messed up, but we're still. But I win because you got more than you. But we did not accomplish anything. This one talks about understanding the needs being met. If most children can understand, when I was in juvenile hall, I had a kid. He was smearing his fecal matter on the thing, and nobody wanted to talk to him. I said, "Shh, let me have a crack at it." I said, "Johnson, lit up, young kid, 18. I said, "Well, I see you're making a masterpiece of the room." Tell me what's going on. I'm pissed off. Tell me why you're upset. Basically, I did my little thing. He said he wanted to be heard because he wanted to talk to his mom, but no one was listening to him. He wasn't heard. So to be heard, so what did he do? Now they're going to hear me. All right. I said, okay, so you're upset because you're not heard, because you can't call your mom because you have something to say to him, and it's bothering you. Yes. Okay, from here to here. So you have a need to be heard, you have a need for respect too, because you have something to say. Yes, that's we're down here. Okay? Now, we went after some other needs, right? And then we got to the final one and says, yeah, that's all I wanted. Good. Would you do me a favor? Would you be willing to get a mop and a bucket and clean up the room? And then you and I could probably make that phone call. All right, Mr. Oden. Thank you. Okay, watch the hands. You know where the stuff is. Okay? And he did. He was just, most people, I always say this, 95% of what you're paying for is usually what they went through. That's with anybody. So if you're getting yelled at, you go, whoa, you catch bullets. You go, why are you yelling at me? Why are you calling me names? Why the verbal onslaught? Oh, you go behind the corner, you go, oh, that's what it is. Your boss got on your case. I'm here, and I'm it. Oh, okay. So it's not me, really. No, it's not you. You just happen to be there. If you can remember stuff like that, not personalized, we will really, you give yourself a lot of freedom just to be yourself and not engage in their stuff. Right? But we pick stuff because guess what? It makes sense to us. We're just used to engaging. You know, why does when I had 5 women, I go like this. Tell me why you're with this individual who abuses you. And here's a sheet and pick them. And they showed the sheet. I said, wow, you have 5 or 6 of these needs that were met by your boyfriend. No, 20 actually. So why are you with them? Well, that's a good point, Mr. Oden. Oh, thank you. Who do they remind you of? And usually they go like this. Oh, shit, my dad. Thank you. So you married your what? My dad. Right. Because you're familiar with what? It's called emotional vibration. I know that world. I know that feeling, and I'm used to it, so I'm going to replay it again because that's what I know. Now, if you wake them up, they can go, you know something? Oh, and Mr. Nice Guy over here. Nice guy, right? And he's not going to hit me. And I need to know that's okay, too. And I can be okay with that. So my emotional vibration can change to somebody who knows what kindness looks like, respect looks like. But if you've never seen it, how do you know? And it comes from where? Childhood. Buttons, here we go. Buttons, stimuli, event, right? Activating feelings, causing you to feel overwhelmed or depressed or angry or hostile. Okay? Figure out what buttons you have that really upset you. Figure out what buttons the child has that upsets him. Ask him what needs he has to be met so he can get them met. In a manner that's respectful, in a manner that's realistic. You want to go crazy. Mom, I want a new car. I won't be mad at you. What? Whoa, hold on here, pal. New car, really? So you got to get realistic, okay? Needs, okay? What a need is a motivating force that compels it to be satisfied. It's what we want out of life every day, a basic human, social, emotional element that we want and we strive for. A need can be almost anything. What is it that you're needing? When most kids don't get those needs met, now you're creating this what? Well, like I read, we're creating a monster down the line. Yeah, start them at 6 and 7 and keep going. Wait till it's 18, because what happens is what I've seen over the past is this. When they go through their childhood, not getting their needs met, and they're running around doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and say 10 to 18, that's 8 years, that's a 10-year gap. They get to do whatever they want, and neglected and hurt. In their minds, guess what? I think I can do this as an adult. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to make people pay for that, and therefore we're paying for it. That's why the prisons keep building more. Okay. Here's what it needs to look like. Some examples. The first one, touch, autonomy. That's a big one for most people. Take that away, watch what happens. Take it away from a kid. You give him a little bit, but don't, not crazy. But boundaries. Most of these kids don't have boundaries. If you don't give a teenager boundaries, they think they can do anything. Okay? Touch, nurturance, physical warmth, affection. That's a huge one. Most of my clients never had that before. They don't know what it looks like. They can't hold a hand. They have no idea what touch is. Has your father ever held your hand as your mother? No. They're gone. They're doing something else. Okay? I'll pick number 3 for now, but it applies to everything. Once your needs don't get worth, they jam number 3, self-worth, self-respect. I don't like me. I don't have any respect for myself. I don't have any values. I don't have purpose in life. I don't have visions and dreams because nobody's told me to. Nobody showed me how to. Therefore, I pay for the neglect and the abuse and the abandonment that I got. Here's the next one. This is the big one. Emotional and social interdependence. If they've never had their need for respect met, if they've never had communication met, support, a big one is this one, trust. Ooh, trust, oops, don't touch the screen. Trust and acknowledgement, big. If you don't get that met as a youngster, if you don't get reliability, hey, you're the same parents that wake up in the morning and go to bed with me. Affection, hey, you're going to hold my hand, sit on my lap, and give me a little hug from time to time. Emotional safety is big. How many parents come home drunk? Right? How many parents come home, you know, screaming and, oh my God, what's he going to do now? That's a big one. I was always like this. I'm on guard. So I don't know what it's like not to be on guard. Okay? Predictability is big. Do you show up? Being heard is another one. Appreciate it. Well, how about that? Well, I call this the emotional / spiritual / enema. Because once you see what you did not get, people will buckle down, break down, and cry their eyes out and go, oh my God, I didn't get anything. And you didn't get it from who? Your main people. And who are they? Mom and Dad, if that's the case. And then you find out, why can't mom? And that's what hurts the most. If there's anything you have to say, that's what hurts. You mean to tell me, mom, they didn't give me squat. No wonder I'm like this. No wonder I'm doing all the drugs and doing all the crazy things and the criminal behavior over the years and hurting people. Because, my God, I didn't get anything. And they're hurt. But that can be resolved. I'll show you that at the end. More stuff, more needs here. Mental stimulation, spiritual energy. This gets into aesthetics, understanding, peace. I mean, people don't know what peace is. My gang guy's like this. I don't know. I've been like this my whole life, looking over my shoulder, working, you know. You have that thing. And all of a sudden, they don't know what it's like to do this. No clue. You know how to be still? No. Why? Because I've been running the streets my whole life. Well, there's your answer. So let's work on it. It's okay to be still. I'm not going to hurt you. But I got to get used to it. Now put me in the other side. I don't know what it's like to look over my shoulder. You know, it's not my life, so I give them my example. I don't know that world. If you put me in your world, I wouldn't last 5 minutes because I don't have the instincts. You come to my world, you're going to fall asleep and get bored and create chaos because there isn't any. It's like, whoa, this is boring. That's how I like it. No one gets hurt. Okay? Celebration of life. Most of them don't, what is that? Humor, what is it? Play? But most of them know this. Here's the biggest thing I get from them. So tell me about your child. Tell me about your dad. They go like this. He was a great guy. I go, why? Because he fed me and gave me shelter. Is that it? Yep. Did he do anything else? What do you mean? Is that enough? Well, no, there's another component, which is nice, which is the interconnection between you two. What did he say to you? Did he talk to you? Did he hold you? Did he tell you he loved you? Did he do any of those things? No. That's my point. But that's what they latch on to. That physical. And the other one is this one here. Security of home and family. I don't know. My dad's always gone. Mom's always working. I don't know nobody's home. That's why I titled the book that way. There's nobody home. I can do what I want. I'm looking for love. I'm looking for all this stuff. I don't get it. So I'll join a gang. I'll join a group, whatever that can be, whatever that is to make up for what I'm lacking, which is, you know, minimal. It helps for the moment, but it's not the main people you want. So the main people I want who aren't able to meet our needs is what hurts the most because we actually see it and it's painful because, my God, they let us down. And I had one of my guys who was going to swing out on me about a month ago. I was telling him about his dad, how his childhood, his teenage years. Like, why are you here in front of me? And I mentioned your dad and the things why he's not there and how it impacts you as a boy. You don't have anybody to mirror, and he can't show you to be a man, and you don't know all this stuff. How do you know, Mr. Oden? All you do is read books. You don't know all this stuff. Bull crap. He started doing it. Whoop. I said, oh shit. But luckily that day I had a 280-pound intern next to me. Give a little nod. Take care of business, big fella. You know, he was filing right behind me. I'm going, just listen. He's listening. I said, yeah. He says, and you don't know anything, and you don't know that, and bullshit. And I was like, okay, but listen to me. Listen, I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm doing it to get you to understand why you're in front of me, and how your past has sort of haunted you per se and caused you to make decisions you made. They weren't bad decisions. They were just decisions that you knew how to make without him. Ah, kiss my ass. Ooh, okay. Well, I'm not going to violate you for that. The judge won't believe me. So I said, process that. But just know I care and I want you to understand so we can shift you. I'm trying to get you back to school because you don't have, what, a high school diploma. All right, so let's process that. He went off. I took a drink of water. I said, wow, that was interesting. He comes back the next month. Guess what happened? He processed it. You know what he said? You're right, Mr. Oden. I said, I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to find the truth of your pain so you can understand it, so you can change. But you were right. I'm not trying to be. I'm not getting mad at him. Now my anger's coming up. Stop trying to make me right. I'm trying to find the truth. And he got it. He said, yeah, because everything you said would make sense, and I got it. I looked back, and yeah, he was never there, and I thought he was, and I made it up in my mind, and I go, oh, damn. Now I'm his best friend. What do I do next? I go like, well, I know what to do. Well, if it were a therapeutic session, we'd slow it down and stretch it out for 12 weeks. So I said, in the end, what we want to do is this. One day we want to go to the Supreme Ordeal, Joseph Campbell, and face that thing that haunts us the most. And talk and say, and tell us, you don't run my life, you can't control me, I'm over you, whatever the case may be. That's the key. He went and did it. I said, no, I didn't ask you to do it. Just, that's what we would do. But he went up there to the mountain, went to his dad, said, Dad, I talked to my PO, that bald-headed guy, he told me some stuff, I got a question for you. He goes, what? He says, he told me to ask you this question, why did you leave me? I said, you asked him that? Yeah. Let me know on that bone, okay. So, what did he say? I was curious, I was like, wow, he just caught me by surprise. He said, because it was the drugs and alcohol. I said, that's weak. That's it? He said, that's what he said? I go, listen up. That's his story because he has to stick by it because it'll make sense. If he had to understand how he neglected you and hurt you and all that kind of stuff, it would be too much, which is okay. But it's okay. It's a defense mechanism. But understand this. He wasn't there. It's not his fault either. So we're taking him off the hook. And it's not your fault for doing what you did. He's doing the best he can. Why do you think your father left? Why do most fathers leave? And this is where we get to in the end. Why do most people leave? Why don't they stick around for their children? You know? Think about that. Oh, no. Well, think about it. Why wouldn't you stick around for your own kid? Why would you abandon your own child? Why would you neglect your own child? If you have a kid, what's your first instinct? I know when I had mine, I said, oh, man, I got to take care of you. That was me. You're my kid. And there you are. Wow, look at you. My instinct was this. I want to take care of it. That was my instinct. Some instincts like this. Woo, there's one. Let me go make another. And another. I had a guy with 9. 9? What are you doing with 9? It's amazing. And don't you understand that you can't be around for all of them? No, they don't just, that's mentality. Mentality. I said, okay. But understand why your father wasn't around. So we can get you off the hook emotionally. And he goes, did he know how to do that? Thank you. Maybe he didn't. Who gave him his parental tools? Who hugged him? Who met his needs as a kid? If they didn't, guess what he's going to pass on to you? What's he going to pass on? Not much. Because it's funny when I tell my guys this, I have a kid, now what do? They don't know how to hold their hands, they don't know how to go like this. Well, I know what to do because, you know, I'm growing up and we're going to do some stuff, you're number one priority, I'm going to take you places and I want to be there, but I'm not going to buy you, I'm going to show up. But some people don't know how to do anything, which is why you get lost in the shuffle. So we grow up wondering why they never gave me any attention and why we have to find it elsewhere tragically. Okay? Cool. Feelings, that feeling thing. Emotions as indicators. So here's some of the emotions that people have in relation to needs not being met. So if you're frustrated, irritated, or disappointed, you probably got one need that's not met. Didn't say goodbye. You didn't text me within 15 minutes. That pisses me off. Not bad. You know, get over it. Torn. Okay, well, do I do this with it? Oh my God. But 2 needs not being met, right? Confused. 4 needs not being met. They're not knowing where to start. Do I do that or that? Oh my God. Frustration, anxiety. Woo, 2 more. Pick 2 more. Let's see here. Let's go mad and Furious. Now we get to panic. 5 needs not met. Furiousness. 7. Oh, here we go. Now the blood's starting to boil. Ooh, here we go. 5 needs not getting met. Right? Overwhelmed. 10 needs not being met. And overwhelmed, I would put also hostile. Between us, I should put a 12 in there for hostile, because people get hostile. Because if I showed you what you didn't get met by your dad, you're going to get, then the emotions start rising. And the last one, we talk about being depressed. Yeah, you're depressed because 15 social emotional needs are not being met at all. What do? We carry it. We carry it. And we try to go through life navigating the best way we can. Okay, most people are this. Teenagers, adults, but teenagers and nice dead people. But I don't know what my needs are. I don't know how to express them. I ignore them. I don't know. I go through life punching the time card of life. That's all I do. Okay? 2 is the fun part. I love that part. That's the part when I wake them up. Now they go. Now they understand what needs have not been met, and they get pissed off. That's what I talked to you about the last story. Or almost all my clients get pissed and upset because they found out that the needs were not met by the people they wanted to get them met by. And they react and become sick and man, oh my God, that son of a... After a while, it's like, finally, whew, okay. Then we teach them this part. What needs were met, how it impacted you, and how do you get those needs met? And the real simple equation is this. Ask. I have a need for validation. I have a need for what? Affection. I have a need for tenderness or kindness. Would you be willing to meet that need, ma'am or sir? Okay? And once they get that, it's like, oh my God, now I know what I'm going through. Yes. And then we can do something about it. You know, I got a couple of people on my caseload got married because of this. And the need sheet. Honey, I'm needing this, this, and this. What are you needing? She'd pick her needs out. How can we get them met? Do that with the child. What are they needing? Same thing. Child, adult, doesn't matter. Anybody, doesn't matter. Okay? Oops. Okay, there we go. All right? So, here's the thing that I've just uncovered, or discovered, is to take the pain or the anger and all those intense emotions off of someone's back is to get them to understand the person, in this case usually a parent, and why they couldn't meet your needs. Right? If you can do the fact that, wow, they didn't know how, they didn't have the tools, no one showed them, they too probably were abandoned themselves or neglected, and they have a child, they don't know how to pass on this, you know, this thing of love and affection because they've never seen it. So I go to the client or the kid or the adult or whoever, and I go like this. So guess whose fault it is? They go, no, I ask this, whose fault is it? You go like this. I go, is it yours? He goes, no. Is it your father's? They go, and this is most of the time they do this, it's really interesting. No. Why? Because they didn't know how. Good. Everybody's off the hook. You're not the bad guy you believed yourself to be over the years. Your dad's not the bad person you thought him to be because he couldn't meet your needs. He didn't know how. Oh my God. So now you can look at your dad for who he truly is, a human being with flaws. And tools that he was not able to, shall we say, give you because he didn't know how. That's it. You're done. The scars are still there because it happened, but now we can heal them more, and they can move through life a little easier. Okay? Now we can do that. So anger. What's it all those emotions? Any questions? There's that. So any questions, any comments, anything you want to take from this that you didn't know before? I always ask that to people. What did you learn today? Because I want to make sure you guys learned something. Sir?
For me, I learned a lot about myself.
Oh.
And what I went through and why I made a lot of the choices and decisions that I made. I got a better understanding of my relationship with my dad because he was someone that wasn't there. So it was, for me, very powerful.
Thank you. Well, good. Well, there you go. You made my day. So you met my need. So my need that was meant today was contribution. Okay? His for information and understanding. Hopefully some of you guys have the same thing. You guys start quiet.
What's the process of repairing abandonment issues?
Oh, just like I said at the end, understanding why they left, right?
Right.
That they didn't have the ability to stay, right? Not your fault for them not staying, not their fault for not staying either. Remember, they don't know why they're not staying, why you are not a priority. Or not as you, but a child is a priority, right?
What if the patient feels abandoned due to death?
That's another abandonment.
Right.
Exactly. I've had that. Because, well, he left me. What I did, we got sick and died. Well, that's abandonment, so to speak, unintentional. But you wish he was there to tell me that good stuff. But he left me unintentionally. Yes. So it's the same thing. Him leaving you had nothing to do with you. That was unintentional. Okay? And you have to acknowledge that. Here we go. Now we do the decompression thing. Acknowledge the fact that remember that need thing we talked about? That works in the opposite. Understand what you're not going to get from your dad who passed away or the person who passed away. That makes sense? Understand what you're not going to get, what needs aren't going to happen, the attention, the affection, and all that other stuff. I'm going to miss all that because he left me. And this is why I feel this way. And I'm going to miss that. And then we come to the form of acceptance of that. Okay? No good guy, no bad guy. Just things that happen. And how we perceive them. Okay? That's when that's a hell of a question. Thank you. I just had to do the opposite. I had a guy, he just started using drugs until he was 36. I said, what the hell, 36? And you're in front of me? Yeah, I was using methamphetamine for the last 9 years. Wow, and I'm an addict, I'm sick in the head. No, whoa, what happened? My wife died. Oh, there you go. What do you mean? That's it, your wife died. That's why you went to the drugs and lost yourself and did crazy, went out, got arrested in all these treatment centers, and you just went crazy, you went nuts. So what you need to do, sir, is this. You're going to have to find out what needs weren't going to be met anymore with your wife and say goodbye. He never did that. No one ever talked about that, actually. I said, yeah. So you're the opposite problem. You're the guy who's going to have to understand what needs were never going to be met anymore because you lost your loving wife to an operation that you didn't, you're supposed to go home the next day, and she never came back. Okay, that makes sense? Okay, so.
Follow-up question?
If you have one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're doing pretty good. I'm way ahead of schedule, actually.
Would that be part of the acceptance for grief?
Mm-hmm.
Because getting somebody, especially with somebody who's been using drugs and alcohol for several years, I'm thinking of a couple where it's been friends who have died who feel the loss of companionship.
Yes, loss of companionship.
And posthumously grieving.
Right.
So that would come in after processing denial, anger, depression, and bargaining. Would that come in the acceptance point?
Yes. Acceptance. I always say this, even in my real life, I go like this, acceptance is a wonderful thing. Because it's just nothing I can do, but that's it. That's the way it's going to be. And I come to peace with that event. It may not be life-serving for me at that moment, or but that's the way it's going to be. There's nothing I can do. Good question. Oof, I'll get the thinking there. Sir.
You brought up a lot about relationships. Specifically, if you look at a lot of times, if a person where they're at in relationships now and the type of persons they get involved with, get it back at their child, and you go, oh, that's what. And so I guess what I'm getting at is like you brought the situation with women picking certain men.
Right.
Do you feel that applies to men as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as the women that they pick
Oh,
as
boy.
well?
Okay, here's the thing. Guys, Valentine's Day is coming up. Let's do this. Love, all this stuff, foo-foo, woo, sparkles, and the whole thing. In a relationship is brand new. It's a presentation. Look at me.
Right.
Look at you. We're going to present each other until the guards start coming down month by month. Oh, 6 months. Oh, boy, that thing you do is pissing me off. Right? So what happens is that love thing we talk about, actually, here's what happens. The love thing is the social, superficial, above-the-table thing. What's actually happening is this, is we fall in need. That childhood thing you missed, you're going to make up for that, and you're going to heal it for me. That childhood thing you missed, you're going to help me heal mine. Now, you want to talk about true love? Now, true love is this. This is what I believe it is. It's when two people know their pain and they're helping each other heal. That's cool. But what happens is, since we don't know how, that thing you're supposed to make up for me that I missed as a child, and you can't, and I'm pissed off at you, and you're going to pay for that. And vice versa. Another thing you can add to this is this. You have it's called emotional energy. We talk about, I think at the beginning of this, I think talked about the fact that there's a certain vibration they give off that I'm attracted to and I'm used to it. You can have 5 guys with their stuff together, and this one over here has got their thing jacked up, let's call it. I'm attracted to that one that's jacked up because I know it. That one is too peaceful, he's too calm, he's too loving, he's like, good guy, why would I want him? Or good girl, forget it. I need that thing because I'm used to it. Because guess what, I'm wired for it since this big because we saw stuff. And now that's my survival mechanism. And I know it and I'm very comfortable with it. I don't like it per se, but I'm comfortable. And we're going to do that thing. To stop that, trust me, I had to go there. Because I picked us. I said, why am I dating those kind of women? Right? Figured it out. I said, I get it. Because I'm a rescuer. I've been doing this since I was a kid with my family. Put out fires. So it's easy for me. So once I recognize it, I go, you know something? I'm not doing that anymore. I'm arm's length. I'll help you because that's what I do. I'm doing arm's length. I'm not going to lose myself in it anymore. That acknowledgement and bringing it to the surface and consciousness of it helps a lot. Now we can shift. Because when your old self pops up and goes, hey, I'm back, remember me? I forgot to be my puppet. Remember me? You do that thing before. Oh, no, we don't do that. I learned some stuff from the bald-headed guy. No, we don't do that. We can change now because I'm conscious of you. So that wounded boy shows up who's been abandoned and wants to, then behaves a certain way, starts to interfere, I can shut it down. Control it better. Okay? Really, huh? Anybody else? We doing all right? All right, we have 7 minutes. 6. Anybody else? You've been a wonderful audience. Thank you. If you have anything to say, please. But if you have anything questions, we're winding it down. We're ending early. We're good to go. Good. Okay, we're good to go. Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.